Video we're going to be just doing this a little bit differently. So we're just going to start by saying the only games I've played have been on CoinPoker, and I've played some online MTTs in like Scoop WCube, whatever series was running. I wasn't even paying attention to the series. I just played a few tournaments I found fun, mostly mystery bounties. I won 630 in profit. All of them tracked on my poker tracker. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tell you, work out together how much I actually won on CoinPoker during this rate month. And we're going to do that by bringing up the CoinPoker. So what we've done here is we've gone into our CoinPoker account, and we have basically gone into our transactions, but we just tied in some personal information, which I've cut out, and we're going to click on Coins Inquiry. And if you see here if you look here in Coins Inquiry here, 6581.72 is the total coins that I've quote unquote accumulated. It's actually different amount of coins. I think I've accumulated a tiny bit more coins than a tiny bit less coins than I actually got in rake back from what I calculated. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to just see if I can figure out how many hours I've actually played using Poker Intel. I've looked at this before, and I do think this is kind of crap. Yeah, I mean, I could filter it, try filtering it for a month, but like it doesn't seem to show anything like useful. I mean, it says I played 33.75k hands. So I could sort of get a rough idea of how much I actually played, because I know for a fact that I played. I probably do around 400 hands per hour, 300, 400, which would give me around 84, 85 hours, which is kind of roughly how much I estimated, because I wasn't really tracking how many hours I actually played so much, as I was just expecting to be able to download my hand histories and just put it up in my database and just analyze it that way. But yeah, this Poker Intel is absolutely dog shit, which is what I've always thought of Poker Intel personally. A lot of people use it. I never use it because it's rubbish. But yeah, the long and short of it is we raked roughly 6580. Okay, so I know for a fact, having calculated my balances, how much I've actually won during the month. So what I have to do, so yeah, knowing that that's how much we paid in rakeback, 6581.72 or whatever. And then we take this number here, which is actually the number that I actually recorded myself winning. And we would get this number, but we still have to subtract our MTT winnings. Subtract 632. It was like point something or whatever, I don't know, 60. So subtract 632.6 to 187.72. So on the tables we lost 2187.72, but we basically got 100% rake back. So obviously we would just do some maths here, some basic maths. Oh, that's wrong. 2187.72, and we won 4,394 from coin. And yeah, that's basically what we did. And that gave us the grand total of 526, roughly around this much. Rick back 100%. I put that's not 100% true because I played a few tournaments, but like it's 100% basically. And yeah, that's the month. A good month, a good result for us. So yeah, that was a good month overall for us. We mixed in some MTTs, and that went fine. I mean, if you're gonna win, like I didn't play very many tournaments, and if you're gonna win like a few buy-ins just from like a few tournaments. It's a very, very good run. Even though we never deep runned anything, it's still a good run. We got a 100% rake back promo on CoinPoker. It was my entire focus. I had started playing a little bit on iPoker before March, but with this promo going on, it just made complete sense to just grind this site, because I had played the site getting 80-90% rake back without game selecting at all, continuously. So with the influx of like new players and 100% rake back, it made sense to switch to this, but like actually game select. And it obviously it worked. Now the one thing I will say is, you saw that. Now, and this is obviously just a month worth of volumes. There's only 33k hands, so variance is variance. But you saw that I was game selecting most of the tables I played, not all of them, just most of them. Now, I wasn't like game selecting extremely disciplined. I was just sitting on tables that I thought were okay or good, or I had like some kind of edge. And I basically lost 2k on the tables. And that's what happens when you have GG levels of rake. I just wanted to like put that out there. I've played with a negative win rate, high rake back on this site for a while. And I've done okay. I haven't done as good as I wanted to, but I've done okay. I've sat here, played with GG levels of rake, trying to game select, and I've lost 2k on the table. I mean, I ran bad at times. I ran really good at times. It just mixes. So I can't say like above average or below average. Probably slightly above average at times. But like, what really matters to me is the GG levels of rake. If I think about how I would game select on GG versus what I did this month, knowing I got 100% rake back, is completely different, because on GG I would have probably played only about 15% of the tables I actually sat on. Like, that's 85% of the volume that I did. I don't think would have been worth sitting on without this promo, and that is a huge problem with the with this level of rake. Is like, if you want a consistent win rate where you can make a living, you have to be very disciplined with your game selection. You cannot just sit, even if there's just one fish on the table with 40 VPs and not in any of the good seats. So half the seats on the table, you can't even sit on them when there's a recreational. Some people do sit on them, but like, you kind of have to know, if you just take action like that, you're kind of not even like, you're winning post rake back only. Like, obviously, it's hard to measure like your edge against other regs and stuff. Maybe you feel confident against one reg versus another, but we're not talking about players. These regs aren't making massive mistakes, all the time. There'll sometimes be lines where you can like have a tiny edge on it, and you get into those lines. That's really nice for you. But like, for the most part, you're relying on playing recreationals who make big like EV errors constantly, and sometimes you play against fish and they don't even like make huge errors. You just play against them. You're like, okay, well, normally fish over bluff here and over bluff here, but you play against the guy for like 30 minutes and he doesn't get stacked, and you realize, oh, this guy's a nit. He basically just doesn't bet and it always folds. So he'll just lose small pot, small pot, small pot. But like, we pay him off a couple of times, not knowing he doesn't bluff, and then we figure out he doesn't bluff. But like, at that point, we've already played like half an hour and like not made any money. We've had to adapt our strategy. So like, there's just a lot of stuff to say about how big a problem having like this huge level of rake is on the ecosystem, and just on like players in general. It's like, the only way I can't really see myself really staying on coin, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. I was talking about the big volume. I really want it. I put myself under a lot of pressure this month to play big volume. There's some actual good comments on my blog, which I never responded to, but I read. But I was going to record this video first before I responded, where he talked about like being a volume player versus being a not being a volume player. And he said that like you're clearly not a volume guy, and I kind of agree with him, and I've kind of learned that a little bit. When it comes to volume, I don't mind sticking in the volume when it's easy to do and I can just make money without having to think too much. And that's what I basically have done for the last few months until like March and February. January through to like September, that's what I was doing on Coin. I just wasn't thinking very much. I was just like sit down, play. I wasn't doing as much as an hourly as I thought I was going to get, but I didn't have to put the mental energy into the game. But I don't like that approach because I feel like your game regresses when you do that, and like slowing down, studying a lot more, and game selecting and focusing on hands is more my style. That includes mixing in a good amount of study off table, but that does sacrifice the volume. And I've been really trying to push getting up to like 1200 hours per year in volume. I think I can hit that, but the thing that has to be said about doing something like that is I kind of have to accept that I'm probably never going to get in any more volume than that, realistically. Like, as a player, it's not going to be my style, so the best thing to do at this point is to focus on, like, hitting at 1,000 to 1,200 hours per year in playtime, getting a good study in, and then, like, moving up the stakes. That's the aim. And then there's some small stuff off table. You know, I'm going fine. I'm trying to like tone up a little bit. I'm doing okay in that. I still have my Discord server open. I still do hand reviews, but I don't pre-plan. So yeah, let's put some thoughts on the world, poker world news. So actually, one of the things I'm going to be doing is there's obviously there's a creator called Hungry Horse Poker. He has 150k plus subs on YouTube, so very big in the space. I've actually done one video looking at his stuff. It's more just like a for fun video, but because I'm planning to play a little bit more live, like basically when I take something seriously, I take it seriously. Every single video that he's made, I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna make notes about everything he does. I'm not like prepping to play him or anything like that. I just need to understand his strategy, because I feel like a lot of players will try to play like him, but they won't have the sort of technical backing in their game to like execute it very well, and it will just be obvious. So like it's just prep work. Yeah, basically for live, and I'm going to figure some stuff out. I do think his strategies are pretty useful and good, although he thinks about the game a little differently to me. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the future holds for CoinPoker. My current position is a waste of space, and with GG levels of rake, and this just CoinPoker was, to me, it was sort of like the light. A lot of the other sites that were regulated were being like knocked out of the ecosystem, so to speak, like the classic, the party pokers, the poker stars, the whatevers. ACR, had its bot problem. Even though its rake is reasonable, it had its bot problem, and then it's just like, I just don't think there's a huge amount of action on ACR. Also, the software's kind of meh, but so like GG is obviously GG, and I looked at Coin as like the beacon of hope, and it seemed to be good. It was like a good spot, there was like decent action. It wasn't as good as like GG obviously, but it was decent action. It was a playable site, low rake. I liked it. And then they bang software update doesn't go great, but that's forgivable because these things do happen. It takes a while time to transition, but then the break increases, and then the changes to the leaderboard, the promotions, the like PR things, the just stuff like that. Just like, yeah, it's just been a bit of a disaster really this month, to be honest. They can't really, I just struggle to like see with the rake level it is, I struggle to see the future. There are some like leaderboard things they've changed. I haven't looked into the value of it, but it doesn't look very promising. Like yeah, generally CoinPoker, I'm just like planning not to play it, but I will sort of have a look. I might play a few sessions just to see how the leaderboards go, but like realistically, as I said earlier, I played probably 85% of the tables I sat on. I would never have sat on if it wasn't for the promo. So like that's, you know, eight to, you know, one. That means I'm just going to be like, if I sat down, I'd be like two tabling. So I'd need another site. It's just ridiculous, really. So this leaves the question: where do you play online when you're European? And to be honest, it does look pretty grim. I think there's a very few options for Euros, other than to do what GG have forced us to do, and you're probably better off going to GG instead of Coin, because at least on GG, for all of GG's flaws, at least they have a large percentage of whoppers. So I will say one thing about CoinPoker: the thing that then they are doing that GG aren't doing, which I should say is a credit, is they're not really like massively. They don't have like this security and ecology policy bullshit that GG have, where they're just gonna like start like restricting winning players. They're just like saying, you know what, we're sticking the rake up. You play if you want to play, kind of thing. And you know, that's much more fair, in my opinion, than what GG do. GG have a lot of like whales though, and a lot of action, so it's a much better place. If them and Coin are like sort of the same, they kind of, to me, they're just kind of the same. Huge rake. Coin doesn't have the level of fish, but they treat the regs a little better than GG do. Whereas GG have the massive amount of fish, but the terrible rake and the terrible treatment of regs, terrible rake back promos. GG, is, in my opinion, is still sucks. But if you really, really need to play in Europe, like online, and you want to play like higher than 200 now, you really don't have any choice but to play GG Coin or go on ACR and like just battle like a little bit more. That's kind of it, or iPoker, just these kind of things. But you're not going to get anywhere near as much action on Stars, ACR, iPoker, where their rake is like much more reasonable. So yeah, for 200 now players and below, I would honestly suggest your best course of action is to have every site open, have money in every site if you've got the money. If not, maybe just pick a couple of your favorites and just go around looking at every 200 now table over every site. Have free monitors if you can. Have software to help you, like intuitive tables is something I wanted to try, because I think Georgian is crap personally. Have all of those sites open and just look through the lobbies and try and find the good tables. That's your option. The other option is your volume grinder, your rakeback grinder. Pick a site, focus on it, grind the heck out of it, get the max promos you can get, and yeah, just make money that way. I know some people told me that they like will still play 50 and L100 now, and only play the good tables just to like make the lower variance money. Otherwise, yeah, online is not looking great at the moment. I'm afraid to say, like, I'm not saying the online dream is dead, but like, you want to start playing 500 now, 1k plus, and play good. The good games just aren't going to be in abundance, unfortunately, and you're going to have to get really, really, really good. Or you're just going to have to like really, really like stick at it and look. That's just the state of the ecosystem at the moment, which kind of leads me onto why I'm doing more live stuff. Putting into the future. So yeah, I'd say I'm going to be potentially partnering up with some people potentially soon. What it will probably mean is I will like actually start to release content, but like not with myself, but with other people. Next week we're going to fly to America. We're still waiting on a visa to get married. It's a bit chaotic at the moment in the world, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. There's not much you don't really have the power to do much about it. So the only thing to do is to just be patient and wait. and just stay living in the present and focusing on short-term goals. So we'll do that. Yeah, I'm also I have been talking about like coin a lot, about like not liking it as a regular grind. However, they do host these cash game world championship in the mid stakes. I thought that was great last year. I didn't get to play it this year. I'm pretty determined to play it. I'm not sure how much of money I can actually like put aside to play it, because it is 500 now reg free, and you're battling like mostly almost exclusively reg, so it's going to be very high variance thing in it. I'm not sure how much of a bankroll I'll have for it to impact, so it might be a case of I play. If I lose 5 buy-ins, I quit, kind of thing. But that's okay. I'm happy. I accept that. That's life. But yeah, that's what's going on. We're waiting for news for that, and when we do get news, we will be definitely prepping pretty hard. I've been prepping off table anyway already for like months, and we'll prep again even harder. But otherwise, a lot more of my focus is going to be into live poker. I just feel like live poker is just where it has to be. I mean, it's not great in Europe, but like in America, it's pretty strong. And I just feel like live poker is just kind of where it is going to be the best spots, really. If there's one thing I've learned from watching Hungry Horse videos, is like the hourlies that the players end up getting are insane, considering the level of player that they are. And I'm not saying some players are horrible. I'm just saying players at my level, my skill, making like 3x the hourly as me. It's like, it's just crazy. And it's just like it comes to a point, it's like, why am I sticking it out here, making this much per hour when I can be here making that much per hour? Even if I like don't run particularly well, don't perform particularly well, I could still double my hourly playing live, just moving up the stakes. And that's sort of how I feel. I feel like live is just where it's going to be at over the next couple of years. But that's what poker is. You're just looking for the best spots and continuously moving between them. Online right now though, iProbe is probably where I play the most. I will look at Coin over next week, ACR possibly, if I don't feel like Coin or iPoker are going to pan out. But yeah, iPoker is probably where I'll play. I'm going to play this week, and then I'm going to be taking a break as I go to America. And that's basically the plan. And then it's just kind of like we go from there. I might lean a bit more into content creation in the meantime. But that's the wrap up video, guys. I will have to say, like, I am very grateful that I've had a good month. Like the CoinPoker promotion, 100% rate is a great promotion, great spot to play, and I was really, really, really happy with Coin. It was like, oh my god, they don't run this amazing promotion, but then they just like double the rake, like just overnight. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, if they put the rake up 10%, something like that, it'd have been fair enough. Get it a little higher. Maybe it wouldn't be like one of the industry best, but it would have been, even if it was just like middle of the pack, it would have been like, yeah, fine, put it up a little bit, it's okay. But the way they've done it is just so bad. And GG, I guess. GG. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I wish everyone the best of luck in the future, and peace.